Welcome everyone to a HoN Patch Analysis video. Here we're going to discuss patch version 5.0.0, which is Project Kongor's biggest patch that they've released so far. And we got a lot to talk about. We're going to go over each section. I'm going to go through the changes and I'm going to give you all my first impressions about what's going on here. So let's get started with the design section here. We have map changes to the Forest of Kaldivar map. So it was redesigned to reduce the amount of unbalanced areas across the map. The major changes are removal of double high ground at the bases. This defensive aspect was putting the game flow in a stale status since once a team had pushed all the outer towers, they would still need considerable additional farming time to be able to break high ground. Also, it reduced the importance of having map control, as even if all the outer towers were lost, there would still be opportunities to farm somewhere on the map with at least one hero. Rune areas. Both paths along the river have been redesigned to offer more equivalent routing. A big rock was added next to the rune spawn areas on both sides. The rocks aim to give a small advantage to mid players in rune contesting scenarios. Okay, before we go any further, so removing double high ground is a pretty big change because now once you enter the opponent's base, it will be completely flat ground. And the only ramp will be, I believe, at the fountain. So this makes, as it says, pushing into the enemy base much, much easier and harder for the defending team to hold their base. I think this is an interesting change. It should make games a little faster. And make it so that if you have an advantage, you're able to push your advantage into a win easier. I think this is a pretty cool change. The rune one, I guess, is more like a map balance, so that's fine. So we left off here at Hellborn and Legion jungles. Almost a complete revamp, including a new outpost tower. New warding pillars were added. The main focus was to remove the advantages that one side had over the other by adapting the better side to the other. Legion jungle adapted stairs from the river to the jungle, like on Hellborn's side, with triple stairs. Direct access to the jungle outpost from lower ground from the river stairs. Hellborn jungle introduction of a lower ground in the right side of the jungle, like on Hellborn's side. Removal of the gray big wall on the right side of the hard camp. Okay, so this is all very texty, but basically the map is going to be more equivalent on both sides of the jungle, which there were a lot of imbalances in the old map, which were very obvious. It's hard to show or explain these without going into the map, but I think this is a good direction to make the sides more equal. Now, Hellborn and Legion Kongor pits both have been redesigned with an additional hard camp. Oh. New warding pillars places, removal of the high ground in which Kongor was on previously, and new access routes. Okay, so basically, each team's Kongor had different ramp entrances. The Hellborn one had like 2 stairs underneath it and 1 to the right. And the Legion one had like 1 at 3 different angles. So they were very, very much different. I'm expecting that this means that they will be more similar looking, which makes more sense. So Hellborn Kongor pit wider areas with 2 new paths that allow the access from the mid lane to the long lane without having to get inside the Hellborn pit, and from the river to the Hellborn Kongor area. Warding pillars reduced in place more favorable way compared to the previous version. The whole area was reworked and inspired by the Legion Kongor pit to offer more equitably accessible opportunities. Okay. Legion Kongor pit. Area size slightly reduced. Short lane in both sides. Both have been redesigned in order to avoid medium camp pulls. Both have been redesigned. Okay. Enable ganks and reduce the effectiveness of ward vision that used to cover the majority of key areas. Okay, this is a big change actually. So you will not be able to pull the medium camps to the lane anymore. This changes how the long lane works. It will reduce gold for both the man-up lane or the short lane, depending on who gets to farm those pulls. there's gonna be a lot less gold access to the long and short lane, respectively. Okay, this is a pretty big change. It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure exactly how this affects like the meta in terms of like what's more viable, suicides, dual longs, whatnot. But this is a pretty interesting change. So I honestly I have to wait and see how this affects things before I can really say too much. But it's a pretty big change, so it's really interesting. All right, the next section. So now we're on map changes for Midwars. I'm gonna go through this really fast because I don't play a lot of Midwars, but I still want you guys to be able to see what's changing here. So I'll read through these. We're excited to introduce you to the latest update featuring a brand new Midwars map, the Watcher's Vigil, and several exciting changes to enhance gameplay and balance. New Midwars map, the Watcher's Vigil. We've completely overhauled the Midwars experience with the introduction of a new map, the Watcher's Vigil. Here's what you can expect. Map symmetry and balance. The entire map is now symmetrical, ensuring a fair and balanced experience for both teams. This will make matches more competitive and exciting. Tier 3 tower and barracks relocation. Added a tier 3 tower for each team, providing additional defensive options and strategies. Move the barracks in front of the main base, ensuring the main base remains invulnerable until the barracks were destroyed. This change will encourage tactical decisions and coordinated pushes. Free TP at the start. All players now receive a permanent free TP at the beginning of the game. This will enable more versatile early game strategies and mobility. That's perfectly fine because this is supposed to be a more casual style of mode, and having a free TP to me seems fine. Plus the respawns are like really low, so it's not like you can spam TPs anyway. The Watchtowers. Introducing two new objectives on the right side of the map, the Legion Watchtower and the Hellborn Watchtower. The Watchtowers spawn as invulnerable neutral buildings and only interact with players once a tier 2 tower is destroyed. Only the Watchtower on the side of the team that lost their tier 2 tower becomes active and targetable. Then both teams can attack it and try to capture it for 5 minutes. The last hit inflicted to the Watchtower determines the team's ownership. The captured Watchtower is invulnerable during their controlled period and provides a 1500 radius clear vision. Capturing a Watchtower also grants the following bonuses: 400 gold and 300 XP, a permanent state that gives plus 5% damage against buildings stackable, minus 20% armor reduction for all enemy structures for 2 minutes, the ability to TP to it. Oh, so these things are really strong. Okay. Watchtower defense mechanism. Damage return. The Watchtower primary defense is damage reflection. Reflects 50% of the damage done to it back to the attacking hero. Effectiveness of the damage reflection is reduced when multiple heroes are present in the Watchtower pit. It will split between the heroes in the pit, resulting in less damage received by each hero. This clarifies that the Watchtower's damage return is also effective when there are multiple heroes attacking it. Watchtower abilities. Okay, we'll read through these. There's not too many. Storm Void. The Watchtower casts an area of effect storm that affects nearby heroes. Affects slow attack speed and movement speed by 50% for the duration. Steals 80 mana per second from each affected hero. Duration 5 seconds. Maddening Revenge. Active when Watchtower has full mana. When the Watchtower's mana is full, it unleashes the Maddening Revenge ability. Effects. Forces every hero that looks at the Watchtower for 2 seconds to attack it for a brief duration. Damage reflected is doubled through the duration. Duration 5 seconds. Alright, so there's a lot of new stuff for the Midwars map. I guess there's still more stuff. There's a new boss, maybe Halloween themed here. These new valuable objectives encourage teams to engage in fights to contest them as a enhanced map control, provide unique strategical opportunities. We got the headless boss here. I'm not going to read all this. He spawns at 0 minutes, provides team with exciting early game objective. Okay. Killing the headless boss gives the team token, stat buff, first time. Oh, so different rewards depending on how many times you've killed him. So first time you get a token of sight and stat buff. Second time you get a token of stealth. Makes all allied heroes in 1250 radius invisible for 45 seconds. Third time, in addition to the previous buffs, Conwar Blessing, a consumable item that once used on sub or an allied hero gives the effect of Staff of the Master permanently. Damn, that is cool. Okay, so you can get a free staff by killing the boss 3 times. That's actually sick. You still have to kill the boss 3 times, so I don't know how easy or hard that's going to be, but I mean, that's a pretty sick change. We hope you enjoy these changes in the new Midwars experience on the Watcher's Vigil map. This update is designed to create more balanced, competitive, and engaging matches for all heroes and Midwars players. Thank you for your continued support. Okay. Alright, so that's the Midwars changes. Now we have some more changes to FoC, but it's not map related, I guess. Kongors. In addition to the pre-existing bonuses, every Kongor kill now grants Kongor Siege Power permanent state. Grants control of a outpost tower in the jungle of their respective side of the map for 5 minutes. For instance, if Legion killed their Kongor, the outpost tower in Legion jungle will be under their control for 5 minutes. Once the timer is over, the tower will turn back into its neutral state. Conversely, if Legion kills Hellborn Kongor, the outpost tower in Hellborn jungle will be under their control for the same duration. It is possible to have control of both outpost towers at the same time. Alright, so they've added these outpost towers. Killing Kongor gives you access to them, and it's a neutral building in the jungles that you can use to your disposal. Pretty cool stuff, actually. Kongor Siege Power, a stackable additional 5% damage against buildings. This new buff aims to decrease the current power level needed to be able to break high ground, and at the same time further increase Kongor's objective viability. Awesome. Outpost Towers. Now 2 outpost towers respawn as invulnerable neutral buildings, 1 per jungle. They become active once one of the Kongors has been killed. Okay, so we already learned all that. They cannot be killed or contested. Having an outpost tower under a team's control allows them to teleport to it, as well as having a 400 radius vision around it. So it's like a mini ward, and you can TP to it. It's a building. This new mechanic aims to put focus again on maintaining map control while also enabling further mobility options for mid to late phases of a match. Alright, cool. Towers glyph reworked. So this is when you activate the fortification. Every enemy tower destroyed now decreases the remaining glyph cooldown by 60%. Okay, so when you lose a tower, your glyph goes down in cooldown. Oh wait, no. Every enemy tower destroyed decreases their remaining glyph. I think, yeah, okay, so I think if you lose your tower, your glyph goes down. That's how I'm reading this. Additionally, during the glyph, the tower gets 30 attack speed and a physical splash damage effect. 450 radius that only affects non-hero units. Okay, so when you press glyph, your tower gets attack speed and splash on creeps. Okay, I mean, that's pretty cool. It helps you defend. Attack speed allows mid players to have some option when getting dived in the early game. The AoE damage aims to offer an alternative defensive option against heavy pushing lineups, and the base's double high ground removal. Alright. I mean, this is a cool little addition to the game. This doesn't sound like broken or anything. This sounds like a pretty reasonable mechanic. It only works against creeps. It's only during the glyph duration that I mean, this is not something you have access to all the time. You have to use your glyphs appropriately. I mean, this is pretty cool. Neutral creeps. Increased duration of the anti-push aura applied to all neutral creeps from 2 to 4 minutes starts. I don't even know what this means, but it sounds like only for the first few minutes of the game the creeps get a anti-push aura. Okay, so I don't know if this makes too much of an impact or whatnot, but anyway, I'm just gonna go to the next. So we're gonna start here with Staff of the Master and Legacy changes. I don't think there's too many. We'll go through them each. So first we have Arachna. So in addition to the current staff, the Spiderlings now get True Strike. Okay, I mean, this is pretty generic. Nothing really game breaking, nothing like that. This item was already picked up on this Zero. It's pretty good. This is just a little mini buff to that. We give credit to Useless Geek. Go Useless Geek. Okay. Next one is Calamity here. Sunder's Vault, so the ultimate effect edition now spawns a firebomb in the center. So what this does is the original staff is it gets global, now it gets a firebomb as well, and it reduces cooldown from 80 to 60. Is this gonna make staff more viable on Calamity? I don't think you're really buying staff on this Zero. Maybe somebody's giving it to you. I don't think the cost for what this does matters too much. An 80-second cooldown is already pretty reasonable. Going down to 60 is like nice, but I don't think the firebomb, the damage you get from a firebomb, makes it worth spending the staff upgrade or putting into a staff. So I don't think this is a big change personally. Next one is Kane. Force of Balance combines the effects of both offensive and defensive force into one aura. That's pretty cool. That's pretty strong effect. As far as I know, the Kane staff, you get, I think you get like permanent damage when you kill people. So like now you're getting buffed aura. You're getting both auras. You're getting permanent damage when you kill heroes. So the master effect removal. Kane no longer benefits from 50% damage reduction against damage other than the target. Okay, so they're nerfing that aspect and doing this. Okay, and I think we're gonna have some Kane balance down below. So this is just the staff stuff. But this is a cool staff effect. He gets both of his auras, and those work on teammates, by the way. So they're not just for yourself. Those auras go to allies, so that is going to be a pretty strong staff effect, I think. Myrmidon, Forced Evolution, Magic Armor Increase. Okay, he gets one more Magic Armor per level. Pretty cool. I mean, this will help make Myrmidon really durable when he has Staff. Staff's already a really good item on Myrm to begin with. Ophelia. So when she uses ultimate, increases controlled non-hero units attack speed by 20, 25, 30, and attack damage by... Huh. For 8 seconds. Okay, so when you ulti... So only when you ulti, your creeps get attack speed and damage for 8 seconds. That's okay. I mean, that's reasonable. It's not too game-changing. I personally don't buy this item that often, but I know it's viable to buy staff and just grab ancients, and now they'll have more attack speed and damage. So it's pretty reasonable. Pharaoh, Wall of Mummies. Reduces the amount of damage Pharaoh takes within the Wall of Mummies by 5, 10, 15, 20%. That's in addition to like having the shorter cooldown on the hook and being able to hook to allied units. So that's cool. Credit to Honor Me. Go Honor Me. All right, next. So that was all the staff effects. Now we're going to go over hero balance. So the first one we have here is Adrenaline. Oh, thank God this hero's getting nerfed. I can't stand this hero. Okay, so 10 movement speed less. Good. Shard Blast. 10 damage less level 1. You guys can read these values, but it's getting nerfed by like, what's this? 10, 15, 20, 25. So it actually scales how much damage it's losing. That's a pretty reasonable nerf. Ember Shard, this is the third spell. Effect type change from physical to magic. Prevents canceling the teleport of targets under magic immunity. This was so freaking stupid. Like, the fact that you could pull shrunken targets with a generic ability and just stop their TP. This was so dumb. I'm so glad this is getting changed. This is a huge like fix to some of the problems the hero is having. And the ultimate here, Death's Halo, 100% movement speed bonus removed. Duration increased to flat values here, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Replace 5 attack speed and 15 mana per charge. Enemy heroes caught inside the Death's Halo still counts as double charges. Okay, so you don't get attack speed or movement speed in the Halo anymore, but you get mana pool per charge instead. I mean, he's a spell casting strength hero anyway. So Adrenaline reduces adrenaline aggression potential, enabling him to provide further utility for the team by locking enemy heroes inside the Death's Halo. Okay, I think this goes more toward the design philosophy of the hero. If you're supposed to have this big lockdown ultimate, not this huge like frustration factor where like he's running around hasted, dealing tons of damage. This makes a bit more sense. I like the direction this is going. I don't know exactly how much impact or influence this will have because I don't play this hero, but I like what I'm reading. It makes sense. All right, let's go to the next change here. Blood Hunter. All right, so Blood Hunter. Feast. This is the second spell. In addition to pre-existing effects, now level 4 of this ability allows Blood Hunter to steal aura effects from neutral creeps when consumed by Feast. The aura is lost after death. So basically, these are all the neutral creeps. You eat the creep with Infest, you gain their respective aura. I'm not going to read all these because you guys should know or can read what they do. But that is a really cool effect. So like a lot of these will either help you farm faster, sustain, whatever. You pick the creep you want to eat and you gain its effect. That's a really cool change to the hero. Blood Sense. This is his third spell that makes him run around fast and detect people. So they changed the threshold to these values. So it's double level 1, stronger level 2, and global at 3 and 4. Okay, so this is getting a huge buff. And it's also, the threshold is increasing at all levels. So now if you're below 50% health at level 4 of this, you're spotted on the map by Bloodhunter. Bloodhunter has been underperforming. I agree. And just changes aim to offer some quality of life improvements. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. I think these are all good. I think Bloodhunter is going to be a lot better. He will be running around detecting people and more or less hasted a lot more often. So he's going to be able to do his job. I think we're going to see Bloodhunter more often, but I don't know exactly how strong or weak this hero will be. But it's a good direction to go. Okay, next one is Bushwhack here. Crippling Dart. This is the Q spell. Movement speed slow duration increased from 1.25 seconds to 1.5. Small change. Damage value changed from these numbers to 40 plus a % of the attack damage. Okay, I like this because now this ability will scale as you progress into the game. I think this makes Bushwhack's damage output. It should make Bushwhack's damage output a lot better. You don't need to have too much attack damage to get past this 210 value. So it would be... Yeah, you need to have like around 100 something. I'm too lazy to do the math right now. But that's not very far into the game. So this should be a lot better. Sidestep. Ability cooldown reduced by 3, then 3, then 2, and then the same. Okay, so this impacts his early game levels of Sidestep. For the next 3 seconds, Bushwhack gains sight of an enemy unit for 3 seconds when attacking them. That's pretty cool. Now he can chase people down. Since the removal of Bushwhack's ultimate sight effect, the hero has been relegated to a Cold War killer without many additional viable rules. The vision mechanic was re-implemented in his Sidestep, which forces players to mind their position in order to benefit from it without making unnecessary risks. Crippling Dart now offers scaling damage in later stages of the match. Credits to Useless Geek. Useless Geek's getting too many shoutouts. Okay. I like this. This is good. Bushwhack's a pretty bad hero. He's getting some love. I think these changes will help his kit deal damage and whatnot. Pretty good stuff. Calamity is next. Funeral Pyre, which is the passive spell. Agility state decreased from 1.5 to 1. The original state, 100 seconds. Okay. And the buff is it's always going to be 100 seconds, the buff or debuff. Now grants 1 permanent agility gain when heroes are killed by Calamity. Ooh. That's going to be pretty strong. You get 1 agility on the Calamity every time you get a kill. Damage dealt by the extra attack instance increased by 10% per level. Okay, that's a small buff. I think this used to be 100% back in the day. It's going to go up to 90% now. So she's getting some more damage, and she's getting more agility when she gets kills. This will help Calamity a little bit. Alright. I think Calamity's a reasonable hero. Demented Shaman. Unbreakable. Cast range increased. Wow, 875 cast range on Unbreakable. That's really far. That's a big buff to this hero. You can position pretty easily with this hero. Heal value upon proccing Unbreakable effects increased. Okay, so it's the same, but now you get a percentage of the target's max health. Holy cow. So if they have, let's say they have 2000 HP. Maybe this isn't that much, actually. Be like 100 extra health, almost. That's not too bad. I thought this was going to be a lot more, but these values are reasonable. Alright, small buff to Demented Shaman. Pretty nice. Doctor Repulsor, attack range increased by 25. Okay. I mean, he's like an NPC on lane. He doesn't do anything. So, I mean, this is reasonable. Magnetic contraption. Trigger radius increase from 260 to 300. Okay, that's pretty small. Quality of life change. Opposite charges. The spell is kind of weak, so I think this is okay. It's pretty reasonable to have like a 1 second disable at level 1 and a 2.2 at level 4. This doesn't change too much. Later Buster's landing phase was previously heavily nerfed. Yeah, okay. These are really small changes to Doctor. Makes him a little bit of a better laner. He's pretty much like needs a very like reasonable lane to have any impact in a game, or he just feeds and stuff, so that's fine. Next one is Empath. Allied heroes, Essence Link. Allied heroes can now be directly targeted. Oh. Heals the allied hero while damaging yourself. 1 heal, 0.6 damage to self. That is sick. Okay, so you can actually heal your teammates with Essence Link now. When inside another hero, can only be cast on enemies. Okay, that makes sense because you're healing your teammate anyway. Illusory Veil. This is the wall. Within 200 radius, they receive a 20% movement speed slow. So, okay, so Empath's getting a lot more utility. Synergy, in addition, it grants 1 HP regen to Empath. So Empath herself, she's getting like the Glacius treatment. She gets more HP regen for herself, like Glacius gets more mana regen for himself. Those heroes are kind of like 1-to-1. So he can heal teammates now, and he can slow with the wall. Pretty awesome. Credit to Squarey for the Essence League. Go, Squarey! Alright. I like that. A lot of cool changes for Empath. Gauntlet, he's got a pretty simple one here. This is the Q spell. When used, refreshes auto attack animation. So this works like a lot of other heroes on hit effects. They can attack, use their spell, and attack again. Perfectly fine with that. That is a pretty good quality of life change for that hero. Next up is Gladiator. Showdown. Increased duration and vision provided by the gadget by 3 seconds when targeting allies or self. So basically, you can TP to base now and get more fountain regen on yourself or a teammate. You can also use this to combo stuff, like your teammate wants to go in and bait spells, and they have much longer duration on the showdown now. I like this. This is a pretty nice change to Gladiator. Oh, okay, we got the Kayn. Kayn is getting reworked here. There's going to be a lot of text here. I don't think I'm going to go too in detail on this. I'm just going to go over it very quickly because there's a lot of text. So offensive, defensive stances are reworked. We saw earlier that the staff is going to give you both effects combined. So I already know that this is going to be pretty good. So you get a chance to crit for 1.5 damage. You get additional damage. You get out of combat mana regen and mana regen while in combat. So you get something in combat and something out of combat no matter what in offensive mode. In defensive mode, you get armor. You get magic armor, missing HP out of combat regen, and HP regen while in combat. So these are much lower than the out of combat, which makes sense. Steel Resolve. Attack damage reduced per charge, decreased from 20% to 10%, max up to 40%. Okay. So you still you reduce less damage, but you drain a little bit more. So you deal more damage, but you steal less. I think, if I read that correctly. Face Off. Now grants 5, 10, 15 attack damage permanently upon defeating the target hero during this ability's duration. Increased duration. Okay, 4 seconds at level 1. Damn. Up to 5, which is what it was before anyway. You get more cast range on the face-off. Okay, this hero's getting a lot of buffs, damn. Alright, I think Kayn's going to be pretty viable after this change. We'll have to wait and see. Keeper of the Forest, Nature's Guidance. The magic damage when hitting is reduced from 70 to 40 per second. Okay, good change. Keeper's a pretty toxic hero. Not going to really talk too much about Keeper. Martyr, Guardian Angel. Healing and positive health changes received by the target not properly reduce the accumulated damage of the state. For example, if Guardian Angel has accumulated 1000 damage and you heal the target for 400 health, accumulated damage will be reduced to 600 damage. This also means that Martyr's Hand in Hand will properly reduce the accumulated damage from Guardian Angel. Okay. Malakin. He's going to get an armor increase. Shocker, having 0.5 armor sucks. Now he's going to get 1.5. Strength gain per level decrease. Oh, he's getting strength decrease. I wonder why. Because his Hellborn Zeal, his E-spell, magic armor every 1% health missing, is getting increased by quite a lot if I'm looking at these numbers. Or maybe just the level 1 is a lot. Yeah, they're not changing too much other than the level 1. But that still helps. He gets more magic armor. Possession now grants 10, 15, 20 armor for 3 seconds after transforming. Okay. So basically when you ulti with Malakin, you're gonna have a ton of armor. You're still gonna be able to get nuked down, but you're gonna have a lot of armor. This will make the hero way better. The initial armor increase helps Malakin during laning phase the cost of substantial strength gain. Okay, that's fine. So trade off of HP for armor. Also, the 30 seconds additional armor while using ultimate aims to reduce the HP cost penalty slightly by providing a small window of survivability. Credits to Dutch Ownage. Good job, Dutch. Alright, Monkey King. Flying Nimbus. Effects are now removed from any damage source. Flying Nimbus cooldown reduced from 5 to 4 seconds. So Monkey King's mana regeneration from Flying Nimbus was enabling him to completely skip early game mana sources, while greatly increasing his farming potential by not losing its effects when killing neutrals. So basically, now when you're hitting neutrals, you remove your cloud, which, okay, that's fine. He just farms slightly slower so he won't get the mana regen bonuses and stuff. That's fine. Monkey King is a very snowball hero anyway. Moon Queen, starting strength increased to 17. Strength gain increased from 2 to 2.2. Agility reduced from 3.5 to 3.2. He's getting more strength, less agi game. So he carries slightly worse, but has more effective HP. Moonbeam, mana cost, big mana cost changes on Moonbeam. And stun duration increased to 1 second. This is great. So now you can like spam Moonbeam on lane, because it's only 70 mana. You could probably use like 3 of them without using any mana regen. Moon Finale. Now when used turns the day into nighttime for 6, 8, 10 seconds. Yo, that's fucking sick. We can use we can combo this with like the nighttime heroes. I think that's gonna be even in here. Boom. Moon Queen been underperforming. Yup, worse FA. Your night shift mechanic heroes such as Solstice and Warbeast will benefit of the nighttime as much as Moon Queen. These changes aim to better empower Moon Queen in the early game and make her a more viable hard carry choice. Looks fantastic. Moon Queen is getting better. She is like Doctor, a NPC on lane, but maybe not anymore. Myrmidon. Intelligence increased by 2, damage increased by 2, Weedfield mana cost going down. Magikarp, slow increased by 10%. That's fine. Mana cost reduced by 10 mana at all levels. So basically, Myrmidon's getting more int. His spells cost less, so he can spam his spells more. Force Evolution. Now granted by default by the base ability. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Cooldown reduced from 60 seconds to 50 seconds. 30 seconds downtime. I mean, this is fine. You can't spam Ultiform without the staff anyway. Remember, the effectiveness is reduced very fast, letting the hero without options to provide enough utility. The increase of his mana pool, decrease of his ability's mana cost, and ability to farm with his ultimate. These changes help Myrmidon to stay relevant. Yep, okay, that's fine. I have no issues with that. Myrmidon getting some love. Alright, next is Ophelia. Ophelia's Judgment. This is the nuke spell, the second ability. Now it can be cast on self, resulting in teleporting your minions around you after a 3-second delay. Quality of life change. Long time do, since being far away from your minions makes Ophelia almost useless. So basically, what this means is you can push a lane, and then TP to another lane, and then port your minions to your hero. That is freaking awesome, and makes this hero a lot better in terms of moving around the map. Pretty nice quality of life change. I don't think that this is going to be like OP or anything, but it's hard to say. I don't feel like it'll be OP, but it's definitely a strong effect. Gonna be interested to see how that one affects the game. Pearl, asphyxiate, damage got reduced at the first 3 levels by a bit. Okay. Soothing Presence, health regeneration per hero decrease. So basically this hero was overbuffed. Pearl is slightly overbuffed. Okay, I can read clearly. This hero was definitely overtuned, and it's getting brought down a little bit. That's fine. Pestilence. Oh man, we still have a lot to go over. This is a big patch. Pestilence, the flight, second activation flight range increased. So got increased to 600, 759. So basically the early levels got better. The 3rd level actually got weaker, and the 4th level got weaker. Flight speed rescaled to... This is how fast you fly in. Curvature of the leap has been changed. No longer receives an additional 8% damage. Oh, that's big. This is what made Pesty kind of weak, I think, was you would fly in and take extra damage. Now you don't take extra damage. That should make Pesty way better. Gore. In addition, while cooldown, killing lane creep launches a creep corpse at 900 speed and 700 units. Corpse hits an enemy hero. It deals physical damage. Huh. Credit to Dude for the gore and flight effect. Go, Dude. Increasing Pestilence landing presence with gore and reducing its necessity for portal key with flight will enable further itemization options. Alright, Pesty should be a bit better. These changes look pretty good. Plague Rider. Earthblight now applies Restrain to targets. Okay, really simple buff to Plague Rider's second spell. You cannot blink away or leap or whatever. Once you get caught by the Earthblight, you're stuck in it. Pharaoh. Wall of Mummies drains enemy mana when they get pushed back by the mummies. That's fine. I think Pharaoh has been kind of underwhelming for a while. Tormented Soul. Cooldown gets decreased by a lot, actually. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4. 13-second Tormented Soul. Okay, it applies 20% movement speed slow. Damn! Okay. So that's some pretty nice buffs to Pharaoh. So he can slow you now for 2 seconds, and he can burn your mana. That's right. He can slow you, walk up to you, and then drain your mana. That's freaking sweet. Okay. Next up is Polywog Priest. Morph. Looks like the duration got rescaled here. So it's better at the lower levels and the same at the level 4. Cooldown increased, but it's still the same at level 4. Mana cost reduced by a tiny bit. Okay. Voodoo Wards. Oh, this is the big one. Okay. I mean, the morph change is pretty nice, but the Voodoo Wards, this is like the whole hero, kind of. Your ultimate is... That's a big change. I mean, going from 120 to 80 seconds, that's a big decrease. So you're going to have wards a lot more often. This makes Polywog a much better hero. I think we will see some more Polywog Priests. I don't know if we're going to see him like in a core role. I think we could, but I think maybe even support Poly will be more viable because you have wards more often. You can just push. And Poly is a pretty good disabler, similar to like Witch Slayer. Alright, cool changes to Poly. Predator is up next. Leap getting some damage buffs at all 4 levels. Restrain is increased at all 4 levels. This should mean the slow, the venomous effect. Stronger at the early levels. Applies 2 terror charges instead of 1. Alright, Leap getting a lot of buffs. Stonehide, you get passive armor now, and then the active armor is reduced to reflect the difference. I like that change. Now Predator, if you want to level up Stonehide, you actually get passive armor. Predator has been disregarded due to the fact that it can be used as a kite. They change the same to Predator's closing gap skills, also enabling it to better sustain in the early stages of the game. Okay, I mean Predator is a pretty bad hero, so I think these changes are quite good. Nothing looks OP here, it just looks like reasonable damage number buffs and restrain buffs. Profit, invigorate, cooldown increase. Okay. This is the heal spell, so it's increased to 10 seconds. Mana cost also going up. Ability range decrease. Okay. Pyromancer. Dragon Fire. This is the stun. Cast range increased. Okay, a little number buff cast range to the stun, so you don't have to be so close to them anymore. Fervor. This is the passive. Passive cast speed on learn increased. Okay, you get more cast speed. Attack speed per charge rescaled. It got a little bit weaker. Can now be activated instantly, granting Pyromancer 3 fervor charges, costing 50 mana, and placing the spell in cooldown for 45 seconds. Yo, that's pretty sweet. So you can spend 50 mana to grant 3 charges of this. So you get like movement speed, attack speed. Pyromancer's low HP pool, no survivability tools paired with high frequency of ganks. Makes zero punishable very easily. The fervor changes aim to provide Pyromancer effects that will help him in all stages of the game. Cool. So nice little buffs to Pyro. Okay, we got a rework here for Solomon. So this is another rework. One was reverted to the previous form from patch 4.2.0. So there's going to be a lot of text here. This is already something that's been in the game before. So I'm just going to quickly go over this because it's a lot of text. He's getting his cleave back. This is where he gets the 2 cleaves with the Q and the W, which deal damage based on his attack damage in front of him and slow. Wish for Wealth. This is the gold gaining ability. It caps out per kill. Wish for Power is where you get attack speed, and you can activate it to double the attack speed. It gives to you and your allies. So you give yourself and your allies attack speed. This works with this works well with like push heroes as well, because you can give the buff to units. So Solomon will pair well with like Balfagor, Ophelia, those kinds of heroes. Wish for Revenge, activate to transform into an Avatar of Revenge. Avatar has this much health. It's got different abilities. I'm not going to go over all of this, but you can leap at people. You can leap at people. You can do your damage in a cone. And then you blow yourself up and you deal all this AoE damage. It's a pretty strong version of Solomon. I'm not really too happy to see that one come back, but at the same time, it's probably more useful than the current version of Solomon, so I think it'll make some people happy. You can't make everyone happy, unfortunately. Solomon's a pretty polarizing hero, but I'm gonna get PTSD of like old HoN tournaments where I played against this hero and it was really, really hard to play against, so hopefully it's not OP, but we'll see. It's old Solomon is back. Swiftblade, Blade Frenzy no longer dispels buffs. Damage reduced while active removed. Okay, so this will make him stronger in his spin. You can't like you can pop DD and then spin, and you don't remove your spin. It's a pretty nice quality of life change for Swiftblade. Counter attack, active duration changed. From 2 seconds if without stab. Removing Blade Frenzy's downsides will enable a better carry presence in later stages of the game while keeping his early game presence similar. Okay. Okay, next up on the list here is Succubus. So her Smitten, this is the first ability. Change the cast target scheme from single target to target position. Can now affect all enemy units, including creeps, minions, heroes, ancients, Kongor. Okay, that's a pretty big change. Ranges rescale, damage output is adjusted. Okay, but it's AoE now. That's interesting. That spell was low key, like kind of good, but the hero is not really played. And now, now it's AoE. That's an interesting change. I don't know if that will make the hero picked or played more, but it's a nice change to the hero. Tarot, ricochet cooldown reduced. Fire Scry, target duration reduced. Now additionally grants movement speed and attack speed for 2 seconds if your attacks bounce to an enemy hero. Further rewards to better utilize Fire Scry will enable a player to better close the gap with their targets while also increasing their damage output. Cool. Dark Lady, this is the last hero balance change we have. Mana cost reduced on Dark Blades by 5. Okay, that doesn't change very much. So that is all the hero balance. Time to go over the items, and I think we have a lot of stuff to talk about here. The first one is going to be Abyssal Skull, and it's going to give lifesteal to ranged units now, 6%. Not a lot, but it gives something, and the recipe is going to cost 350 less. So it's going to cost a lot less. Massive decrease in cost aims to make the item viable again, considering... Oh, we have a new item coming up. Okay, so there's a reason for this change. But before we get that, we got to go over Barrier Idol. Magic damage increased. Post-effective mitigation increased to 400 and 700. Okay, for the first 5 seconds, absorbs an additional 200 magic damage on non-hero units, 900 in total. So this makes Barrier Idol a lot stronger when pushing high ground. You activate it, and for 5 seconds, the creeps get more durability, and it just gets buffed in general. Okay, increased utility of the item while also enabling a pushing bases easier. Okay, cool. So Barrier Idol's getting a little buff. Shouldn't be game breaking, I don't think, hopefully, but making for pushing uphill better. All right, this one's a new one. Star Scribe Boots. It even says new item. Build up is the sorcery boots, mana boots, plus astrolabe plus a recipe scroll. So it almost costs 4,000 gold, but you get a lot of stats. You get a maximum mana pool and 70 movement speed. Basically, this is combining the effects of astrolabe and mana boots, but I think you're getting more mana and more health when you activate it. And if ally hero has less than 30% health, applies 12 health regen and 8 armor for 10 seconds. That's pretty sweet. But it's on a 45-second cooldown, so it's a pretty long cooldown. It doesn't work with other sources. That makes sense. Added to the initiation item category. Okay. Pretty cool new item. Just combine some stuff. A little bit nicer of an effect. Next one up is Insanitarius. Reduce the toggle time, so only a 3-second toggle cooldown. Additional damage decreased. Okay, so less damage, but you're getting more attack speed now. Health removed, reduced. Negated if current HP is lower than 100. 25% slow resistance. Okay, Sanitarius getting a lot of changes. XP sources for strength heroes. Okay, cool. I mean, this is a pretty cool item. I like that they're trying to push this to be more viable on strength heroes. Hopefully we see more in Sanitarius. It's a fun item. It's really good for big plays and stuff. It's a high risk, high reward item because it's like a mid-game item that can do a lot of damage. I've always been a big fan of Insanitarius, but it's been a little too weak. Iron Shield, block chance reduced. Oh, the build-up is changed. Oh, so no longer requires 2 duck boots. It's duck boot and a recipe. That's why it says cannot be disassembled. All right. Lunar tier. It's getting the golden apple treatment. You can't spam them. This is a good change, I think. Healthy for the game. Null Fireblade. Okay, this is a big one because Null Fireblade is a really, really powerful item right now. So it's getting its components changed. No longer 2 quick blades and a soul scream ring and a recipe. Now it's 2 fleet feet and a quick blade and a recipe. It's a little bit cheaper at level 1 than it used to be. And the recipe is like 90 gold more expensive than the old recipe. So the agility got decreased. The strength is almost like non-existent. Same with the intelligence. Okay, so this is pretty much an agility only item now for the most part. Mana burn on hit decreased. Okay, this is great. So the level 1 is not too much different, but the level 2 and the level 3 are way weaker. So you're not just draining people's mana like super fast anymore. Decreased bonus physical damage. Okay, that's reflected by the mana burn. You burn half of the mana. So no Fireblade has been overperforming. Agree. Almost all aspects of the item have been nerfed to address everyone's frustration while playing against this item. All right, this is a really good change. This is gonna give room for other items to come into the game and be picked up because this item was so strong that it was almost mandatory on most heroes. All right, next change we have is portal keys getting changed. Oh boy, what's going on here? Cost reduced. Portal keys getting 200 gold cheaper, but they're increasing the cooldown by 5 seconds and increasing or reducing the cast range. Okay, so these changes look to be pretty drastic. One thing I'm gonna say is I have a little inside information about this change, and basically I'm not going to be able to tell you too much, but I can say the change to portal key, while I don't like it, and I think a lot of people are not going to like it because it's a pretty notorious item in the game. The reason this item is being changed, to my understanding, is that there is stuff coming in the future that this will affect. So we're just going to have to live with portal key being a little bit worse, but you can get it a little bit faster. So portal key is an essential item in HoN that has transcended its primary usage, initiation. It is also a convenient tool for farming, initiating, ganking, avoiding threats. These changes aim to reduce its utility potential while enabling its purchase earlier. That is key for a lot of initiators. All right. We could talk about this probably all day, but I'm just going to leave it there. It's a change we're going to have to get used to. 5-second cooldown is a big one, but also the cast range. So post haste. Recipe reduced to 1,500 gold. So post haste is getting a 300 gold reduction. That's a pretty big change in my opinion. I think post haste is going to be really viable now in heroes that want to gank a lot. And you can get this pretty early in the game if you're playing a farming position. And you can just be very mobile. I don't know if we'll see like first item post haste all the time, but I think it's an option that people have now because spending 2,200 gold in the beginning of the game to get a post haste, you can get that in a few minutes. So it's pretty viable in scenarios. So Pegasus Boots is directly related to this change, so we don't really need to talk about that. It's just the item being cheaper. Power supply. Max charges changed from 15 to 20. Aim is for power supply to be considered a non-support item. Okay. So power supply will have more charges now. That's pretty cool. Shouldn't be OP because it's still pretty expensive. It's like 500 something gold or whatever. Sacrificial stone is reworked. So build up battery, pretender's crown, mark of novice, recipe, 700 gold. Max charge is 10. Each charge grants 14 HP. 25 mana. Passively grants stats, additional healing done based on the owner's attack range, plus 5% melee, plus 15% range. On death heals 50 HP. The 200 in a 1200 radius reduces the death timer itself by 8 seconds upon death. No one charge gives an aura that grants plus 2 to all stats to allies, but not to yourself. Huh. Charizard's inner light, curse cauterize, value consumption, benefits from 15% healing. The previous version was too convenient and provided too much survivability for its cost. Okay, that I can agree on. Indeed, the high strength provided paired with power supply effects made the item so efficient that there was no reason to skip it on any hero or occasion. But these changes are aimed to lower the overall HP pool, enabling ganking opportunities in heroes that rely on early hero kills such as Grid X, Bloodhunter, etc. Okay, so Sackstone's getting a big change to reduce its mass purchasing on lots of heroes. Alright, we got another new item here, Shadow Veil. Cost 300 gold. restock time 15 minutes and has a cooldown of 2 minutes. And you can have a max of 2 in the shop. Active ability, give yourself nearby allies and allied units veiled raw invisibility and 20% plus 20% move speed. So basically this is smoke from Dota, I think. It's like smoke your whole team. It's veiled rot in HoN though. And it restocks every 15 minutes. I like it. This is a good addition to the game. It promotes team play. It's a healthy item. I think it's fine. We got another new item here. And also just one more thing to add is you can't do this like all the time. It has a pretty large cooldown, so it's pretty balanced in my opinion. Sinner's Inscription. It combines Abyssal Skull and Tablet. That is a cheaper tablet. So I guess Tablet's getting buffed too. So Abyssal Skull and Tablet, and this is what it costs. Can't be disassembled. 20% base damage. Does not stack with itself or Abyssal Skull. Active. Push hero 700 units toward the direction it is facing and applies a 50% movement speed increase or slow for 2 seconds, depending if the target is an ally or enemy. An improved tablet of command version that carries an improved Abyssal Skull aura and effects. This item aims to incentivize further purchases of Abyssal Skull while also giving additional support of items options to Portal Key. Okay, cool. I like the concept of that item. It's pretty cool. Tablet of Command. So we just saw here in this one, it used to be 1800 gold. Now it's 1650. Okay. Another new item here, Titan's Fist. One second, I have something to drink. Build up. Energizer, Fortified Bracer, Punch Dagger, and Recipe. Cost 3,000 gold. So what is this new item that gives you speed and HP and damage? You get a lot of stats. You get damage. You get 30 movement speed passively. That's, I think, from the Energizer. Mana regen. Target a location to dash toward it, dealing damage equal to your attack damage, plus 100% of your strength to the closest enemy hero within a 250 radius. Additionally, grants yourself 50 movement speed, 25 attack speed, 25% slow resistance for 6 seconds on a 20-second cooldown. Added to the combative item category. A selfish item upgrade for Energizer geared toward melee heroes, granting them just a bit of burst mobility to close the gap. Okay. You're going to buy this on strength heroes, I think, that want to pick up Energizer, because it's based on dealing your strength in a 250 radius, so it's a really small jump. Like you dash in a small radius. So this item looks pretty balanced, I would say. It's kind of niche to strength heroes. You get some stats, but it costs 3,000 gold, so it's not like a cheap item either. This is an interesting item. I don't know how good or bad it's gonna be, but it's a cool introduction, I think. Token getting increased by 1 minute. That's fine. 4 minutes is not a big deal. 3 minutes was kind of low, honestly, for token, but I don't have a problem with it being 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. Next item up is Warding Talisman. So it costs 625. It's 3 small build-up items. This looks like a laning phase item, I guess. You passively get 1.5 armor, 80% chance to block 20 damage, blah, 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 blah. Applies Nihil Crystal for 10 seconds upon taking an instance of 60 plus non-dot spell damage. A non-agility hero early game defensive option to Iron Shield. It pairs the best effects of Iron Buckler with Nihil Crystal. Credits to Dutch Ownage. Good job, Dutch Ownage. We're giving you more credit. Alright, I think we're getting to the bottom here. So next is going to be Fortified Bracer. Now gives 1 magic armor, stackable with other magic armor sources. Build-up items do not benefit from this effect. Okay, so only when you have a bracer in your inventory do you get 1 magic armor. That's cool. Small little change. I think all the items equivalent to this are going to get a change. So Soul Scream Ring now gives 5 attack speed. Same effect, stackable. Doesn't work if you build it into stuff. Talisman of Exile now gives +3 mana per lane creep, ancient, or minion. Kill, deny. Stackable does not work on jungle creeps. So basically, if you're an int hero or whatever, and you get a Talisman of the Exile and you're in laning phase, last hitting creeps, you get +3 mana back. That's cool. Not game breaking. Little cool, little buff. We have some bug fixes. I don't think we'll talk about these, but that's it. That's patch 5.0.0. So I think this was about an hour here discussing the patch. Lots of changes. Gonna be interested to try them out myself and play them. But hopefully you enjoyed the patch analysis, and I look forward to seeing you all in future ones.